Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. I hope you had a great day. Today we are looking at some new malicious compliance stories. I hope you enjoy the video. The first story is called A Boss's Malicious Compliance. About a decade ago, when I was fresh out of high school, I got a summer job working at a lakeside boat rental and bait and tackle shop. My boss inherited the shop from his father and took a massive amount of pride in keeping the family business going. Still, he wasn't one to give in to things and clearly took it personally when a customer complained about anything to do with the shop he loved so much. Our lake was a pretty popular trophy fishing destination due to how large the local Mackinaw trout got. My boss wanted to reward people who planned ahead by never charging summer pricing approximately $150 more per day on reservations. Naturally, this resulted in our boats getting booked out weeks in advance. The catch was that we did require a completely refundable $100 security deposit. We said that it was in case of damages, but it was mostly to guarantee that they returned the boat. Of course, every year many people took issue with this policy. In 3 years I saw this happen dozens of times. My boss had his malicious compliance down to an exact science. When a customer would refuse to pay the security deposit, he would state that the deposit is non-negotiable. Almost always, the customer would then declare that they are cancelling their reservation, they never do business here again, generally recite the whole Karen manifesto. My boss would cheerfully agree, feed their paperwork into the shredder and send them off. You see, of the 3 marinas on the lake, we were the only ones that rented out boats. The other 2 only rented out space for boats to dock. They had never asked about our competitors, so my boss never had any reason to inform them. Without fail, within the hour, the customer would be back, having realized that they couldn't get a boat elsewhere. Usually at this point, business would be picking up, meaning I'd be loudly answering questions about boat rentals for other guests. And the customer's fishing buddies or antsy kids would be pushing them to get the boat already. Grudgingly, they'd ask for their boat. My boss would fake concern and tell them that unfortunately all the boats have been reserved for weeks, so we are usually unable to accommodate walk-in rental requests. As luck would have it, we had a cancellation earlier that day. Since they don't have a reservation, however, we have to charge the summer holiday pricing. Oh, and just FYI, we require a completely refundable $100 security deposit for all rentals. I hope that's alright with you. The next story is called Solve Your Own Problems. A little over a decade ago, I worked for the local hardware outfit as a storeman and store manager. I took the job because it was local, paid okay, and was supposed to be relatively stress-free. Unfortunately, the reality of it was that the assistant manager, Colin, was an idiot with an inferiority complex who had it in for me because I was more qualified than he was. But I had absolutely no interest in climbing the corporate ladder or taking his job. The job itself was overtasked and understaffed, and things were only getting busier as there was a building boom happening in the area at the time. As a result, I quickly ended up being run off my feet every day, trying to keep up with the constant influx of goods and outgoing orders. To make matters worse, the overall manager John decided to reassign my 2 offsiders as delivery staff, leaving me on my own. When I protested, I was told to solve my own problems. I somehow kept up with the workload just. But knowing that this was not going to work in the long run, I continued in my attempts to get more staff in my area. Even just 1 offsider would have made a huge difference. I tried reasoning with John, saying, what if I get sick or injured? How will you get the orders done then? His solution was that he would have some of the casual staff from the front retail area fill in if that happened. I laughed in his face and suggested that they could not find their own backends using both hands. Probably not the best way to handle things. Once again, I was told to solve my own problems. Okay then, fine, I will do just that. The situation continued, becoming more difficult each week. The incoming goods were increasing in volume to keep up with demand, think 2 semi-trailers per day. And as outgoing orders were to take priority, the incoming goods began piling up. Colin decided to rear his ugly head and make a fuss about stock not being checked in and stored on time. And in one of our more robust discussions, I seriously considered rearranging his face and told him so. He decided to go on an early lunch, run away, and hid from me in his office for the rest of the week. That was the day I realized I need to get out of this place. As for solving my problem, well, obviously I was looking for a new job. I answered an ad for correctional officers and attended a meeting for applicants. I sat through the psych tests, interviews, and was finally accepted for the training to begin in 1 month. Perfect timing. The next Monday, I walked into John's office and gave my 2 weeks notice. John was absolutely appalled that I would consider leaving such a good job. He tried offering me a raise of $1,000 per year. I laughed and said my starting pay was already $15,000 more than I was getting here, and walked out. Now you would think a smart manager would immediately take steps to cover my position and begin training a replacement. Nope, nothing happened for the next week and a half until on my last Thursday John finally showed up with a replacement. It was an entirely forgettable teenager who plainly had no chance of keeping up. I trained him as best I could and the next day said my goodbyes. 2 months later I walked in as a customer, flush with my new job money. The place was an utter mess. There were things everywhere. Unprocessed goods still in sealed boxes, pallets of sheeting just dumped in the truck yard, and no one could find anything. The original guy I trained was nowhere to be seen. 4 new young guys with haunted looking faces were madly scrambling about trying to sort their things out. No one knew where anything was, where anything goes, or even how to do a basic invoice check. A total disaster that brought a warm glow to my evil black "told you so" heart. Upon seeing me, John quickly pulled me aside and asked if I can help out and show the new guys what to do. I took great pleasure in reminding him that I had repeatedly warned him that this could happen. And that I not only no longer work there, but that he will have to solve his own problems. I hope you enjoyed today's video so far. If you want more content, please subscribe to the channel. And if you like the video, don't forget to press the like button. It really helps. And now on to the last story. The last story is called "Want Me to Stick to the Policy?" At my job, we are given a packet of papers that tell us what to run, how many of it to run, and the information we need to run the material. We call these work orders. It is company policy not to run without a work order. Now the problem is that we have one person who writes all the work orders for the plant. It might take a while to get a work order, so usually the boss tells us what to run and we get started on it. My boss, John, comes up to me like every morning. "You are going to run this material today. I'll get you a work order as soon as possible." "Sure thing, boss." So I get everything set up and start running like normal, except no order, like normal. Then Kevin, the owner of the company, walks up. "Hey, I was looking for your work order. Where is it?" "I don't have it." "John said he would bring it later." "Then why are you running?" "I know what I'm running, so I started running. My boss told me to run this material." "Are you aware that the company policy is not to run without a work order?" "I'm aware, but sometimes it takes time to get work orders, so we would be standing around not doing anything while waiting for it." "So you are just ignoring company policy." He then turns and walks away without me answering. A couple of days later. "Hey, you are running this other material today." "Cool, get me a work order." "I get it later. Go ahead, set up and start." "Are you aware company policy is to run only when you have a work order?" "I'm aware, but the lady who writes the order is behind, so it's going to take time." "But Kevin said we are not to run without a work order." "Sorry, John, but if you want me to start without an order, go take it up with him." John turns around and walks away. I should mention that the machine I ran required at least 2 people to run it, but it was better with 3. The day we only had 2. A few hours passed and he came back with a work order. It was about 10 AM. We started at 7 AM. "Here's your work order. Are you set up and ready to run?" "I have the roads and everything. But it's going to take a while as the machine takes a little while to start up. I should be running around 12. "So the company paid you and your helper for standing around doing nothing?" "No, You paid me and my helper for waiting on a work order. There's a difference. John walks away. Kevin wants to be a stickler for the rules. Okay, I can play that game too. So they paid me and my helper for 5 hours a day for waiting around. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when you have at least one machine down about 1 hour every day while the employees wait for a work order, it adds up. Everyone there wants without an order from time to time. Kevin never says anything about it anymore, because he would have about 30 to 40% of the operators waiting on orders. And he doesn't make money if the machines don't run. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel for more content. Let me know what you think about the stories in the comment section below. Have a great day. Bye bye.